Baby girl.
is going to be here
Baby girl Rob Fenn.
to answer your Social
Get
Security.
him a sash that says baby girl.
We totally should. Sashes.com. Rob Fenn is a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration. He's going to answer your questions about Social Security. We know you have a ton of them. Get in early while the getting's good. You know, early bird gets worms. You're not a bird, and no one wants to eat worms, but you know what we mean.
Why are you talking about worms a lot today?
Am I?
Worms and the diet of worms.
Yeah.
The diet of worms. Yeah. Oh, any excuse for my German accent. It's pretty good, isn't it?
No.
I think that's more of a Swedish accent.
What are you talking about, Zedaya?
Gosh.
No. just
Isn't
no.
there like a little Muppet or something that sounds like that? Something like that.
Probably.
Sesame Street? Something.
Why do you dislike
Sounds like the
the
Count.
accent? The Germans struggle with the TH sound. You don't know this?
Yeah,
Ron likes
my
it.
last landlord was German, and I took German in college.
Ah, auf Wiedersehen. Guten Tag, Fräulein. All that to say, I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, questions in for Rob Fenn. That's what you got to do. You text him in right now to get in line. 440-546-2255. 440-546-2255. Craziest story came out in the New York Post I can't resist chatting about. And I don't know what's going to happen around Eastwood
All right.
on this
Scared.
one. Because there's a twist, I think. So, more than half of Gen Z shoppers prefer self-checkout lines.
Okay. Me too.
You do?
I do. I struggle with that because as a union member, a proud Teamster, I think I should go through the line and let the human being earn their money. But as a lazy person, I'm like, I've only got 5 items here. Just let me zip, zip, zip and be done.
Yeah, I like it when I have just a few items. It's been great at Dollar General because they're so thin staffed. It's just how they design their stores. They have a self-checkout now. It's so great. But when you have a full cart and Walmart just forces everyone to do self-checkout, it's just brutal. I don't have time for that. Although I wish Aldi would just be in charge of training everyone who does
Yes.
checkout. It's like, no, hurry. No, stop going slow. Faster.
No cap.
Yeah, I don't like when you go to the store and they have to take 75 hours to look up what fruit it is and then what's its number.
Yeah, that's not fun.
They like flip through like 14 pages. No. That's too much for me.
Now, and Gen Z would even switch their store of choice for the ease of self-serve kiosks, according to new data from Avery Dennison. But it's not necessarily because they're independent and introverted. Daria, do you prefer self-checkout, Gen Z lady?
I used to, and I'm hating them more and more.
Do you sense this is accurate just anecdotally, that the Gen Z prefers self-checkout?
Oh, yeah, they're terrified of talking to an actual human.
You think that's what it is?
Many of them, yes. They've grown up behind a screen, so many of them are socially stunted.
Well, there's a couple of twists in this story. It's not just that they prefer it because of that.
Okay.
1/3 of young shoppers admitted that they shoplift while cashing out at self-checkout.
Oh.
According to a recent Lending Tree survey of 2,000 Americans, nearly half of Gen Z respondents said they steal the most expensive item from their cart, while only 37% they would only lift necessities. Oh, as long as you're stealing necessities, I guess we're okay then? What? But almost half are like, yeah, I steal and I pick the most expensive thing and I like do maybe they pick it up and they just go boop with their mouth to make people think they did it. Boop. And they put it in the cart and they steal it.
Wow.
Daria,
Yes.
what say you, Gen Z, you naughty person?
Do I do this, or do I know why other people are doing it?
I don't know. I mean, if you want to confess, we will tell you you're forgiven in Jesus' name. Go ahead.
I do not do this, but I was in no way surprised when I found this article.
What? Really? I mean, because
Really?
like older generations, the idea of shoplifting is so bad.
Yeah.
Like no one's doing this unless you're naughty. And now it's got like half of Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this not surprise you?
One, the economy is so rough, and Gen Z in particular, I think, was hit hardest because we're trying to get on our feet. So for some of them, it might actually be out of desperation. I think more at play is the fact Gen Z is very anti-capitalist. They see it as like sticking it to the man, and they don't see it as hurting these massive corporations. They don't care that stealing is wrong. Would they see that these giant corporations making gobs of money is more morally wrong? And a lot of Gen Z think that everything should be free because they don't understand basic economics, and I need it and it won't hurt anyone, so I might as well take it.
Daria, do you work for the New York Post?
I don't.
Just checking, because here's
She
what they
works
wrote.
here.
Yeah.
Here's what they wrote. But some have said the criminal behavior of shoplifting for Gen Z at self-checkout is a means of vindication. Quote, "We have so many companies that don't care about their customers, only making money." This is how they describe the quote is from one sticky-fingered teen in 2020. At the time, there was a surge in shoplifting tips and tricks that have gone viral.
What?
Yeah, like on TikTok or whatever. I don't know. You're on TikTok.
Find everything on TikTok.
Tips and tricks.
And so what what the sentiment was that they're saying, if we can punish the corporation, we feel we've done our best. And their sentiments are indicative of a larger trend. As Daria indicated, they write here in the New York Post, as just over half of Gen Zers were reported to feel negatively about capitalism.
It's not Aldi's fault there's capitalism.
No.
So you're punishing Aldi.
I actually had right. I remember this strange situation. Ron's heard it probably 16 times, but you two haven't. I was teaching. It was a split lunch period. Did you have any of those in high school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I had taught juniors. So many of them had their driver's license. They'd go and leave campus and go out to eat.
Oh.
And I saw them all like whispering and chuckling when they came back. And I had I was a cool teacher.
I've seen pictures. I don't think so.
Sus.
So I tried to figure out what's going on, and here's what happened. One of these dudes, remember his name's Nathan.
Okay.
He goes to McDonald's with a bunch of buddies down the road, and he's got a gift card with just a few bucks on it. Okay. And he swipes it like a credit card, covers the whole bill. He's like, what? And he's like, anybody else want something? And he starts paying for everybody with this gift card that was reading incorrectly. It was acting like a credit card. It was like, lunch on McDonald's. Like, he didn't tell the staff, but he essentially stole lunch for everyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I was like, you just stole. He's like, it's McDonald's. They got a lot of money. I was like, bro, no, that's like there's someone who owns that franchise. Like, you're not sticking it to the man. You're hurting your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He just wasn't hearing it. Stole lunch for everybody. So what I want to do, though, is talk about this a little bit more in a minute. Because I want to be fair to Gen Z. I don't want everyone to go around going, those Gen Z, they're terrible. They're not terrible, Daria. You guys are great. Every generation has problems.
Yeah.
So some of us are okay.
So is there anything that can be said about their frustration with the economy, capitalism, things like that? We're going to try to give them a fair shake here in just a minute.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten.
Without Trinity support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838. That's 1-800-659-9838.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. And maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so Yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. See what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-58-BIBLE. That's 877-58-BIBLE. 877-58-BIBLE.
Helping you take the next step in your walk with Jesus. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
747. Insane statistics coming from the New York Post as they reported on Gen Z apparently just loves self-checkout. Why? Because like almost half admit that they intentionally shoplift when they're at self-checkout. Many the most expensive item because it's their way of sticking it to the man, as almost half of them are anti-capitalist, essentially, or like have bad feelings towards capitalism. Daria essentially called it before we even reported this, because you've seen this among your peers.
Not personally, but I've heard about it, and just knowing what I know about my own generation, I was not at all surprised.
And now, okay, for clarity's sake, the Bible's so clear. Like stealing, wrong. I mean, shoplifting and like not scanning something at self-checkout, that's called stealing. And that is wrong. Okay, not hard to figure that one out.
Right.
So what they're doing is totally wrong. Everybody does wrong things, so I'm not excusing it, but let's give them a fair shake here. Ron, to what extent do you understand their frustration with capitalism? At all? Because I know you love capitalism. You're a capitalist.
Yeah.
Ron loves capitalism.
In a world where you can be anything, be a free market capitalist.
So, but you're good at extending grace to people. So
yes, I understand their frustration 100%.
100%.
Yeah, when I read an article about major big box corporation hires a new corporate CEO for $7.2 million a year plus benefits and stock options, so it ends up being $28 million or something ridiculous like that. I want to reach up and slap them. And I say, look, board of directors, do your job. The last person you hired, you vetted them. They were an utter failure. And at $7 million, you were happy to pay them more to get rid of them. Let's start somebody low. Let's say $1 million. How about 500,000? And then offer them some bonuses if they do a good job. Because you're hiring people as low a wage as you can get away with. And you fire them at a moment's notice just to try to balance your books. So have a little consistency here, a little moral disambiguity. And I'm rambling, okay.
No. See, I told you yesterday, I said, Ron, I think I'm going to get you going.
Yeah, you did.
and I appreciate that about you, Ron. Because again, for clarity's sake, Ron is not a socialist.
No way. No, just open your eyes and look around the world at socialist countries. And what do they have? They have glorious, ornate, gold-plated toilets for the dictator in charge. and the people are poor. It's not supposed to work that way on paper, but it still does. The people get the shaft in socialism worse than in capitalism.
Yeah, in fact, I remember, and I've told you this, Ron, not the ladies, when I was teaching high school, one of the things we taught in social studies was the Cold War and communism and socialism, right? And we did something called a simulation, which was, I thought, super effective in displaying the inherent flaws in socialism. So we set up a fake car factory. I set up kids in groups. There was like probably 6, 7 groups in the class of like 4 or 5 kids. And I gave them a stack of papers that had an outline of a car on it. Okay? I said, here's what you're going to do. You're all going to make cars. And we're going to record how many you create in each group. Okay? Ready, set, go. And, somebody's job in the assembly line is draw the wheel. Somebody drew the doors, do their assembly line. And, like the A students, they were cranking them out.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, we're going to win this. We are going to make all the cars. And there was some slackers over there, the punk kids are like, who cares? This is dumb. Mr. Dolan making us some dumb car. They made like one car, right? Well, according to socialism, there's a level playing field. We're all equal. We all get the same. So when it's finished, I go around and I give everyone the same reward. I had candy. Like started with the top performers. Here you go. You each get a piece of candy. Congratulations. Great job. You did it. Then I go to the slackers. They all got a piece of candy.
Mm-hmm.
A students were incensed.
Oh, yeah.
What happened is we did this round after round. Pretty soon, production slowed to almost a halt.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody made anything because what was the point? You don't need to work hard. There's no incentive to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so you had, this is what happened in many socialist economies throughout the Cold War, is that they couldn't keep up with America's capitalism because there was no incentive for the worker to work hard.
Right.
And there's no financial incentive. There's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly it's bad. And it also presumes in its purest form that everybody's good, right? And we all want to share with each other.
Right.
But I think sometimes we forget that capitalism has its own flaws.
Oh, yeah.
It does. And I think that's where a lot of this frustration is coming from, because you can see during COVID and even during the economic slowdown, recession, whatever you want to call this, where your average person is really struggling to put food on their table, these corporations keep making more and more money. So there seems to be an indication that they, even with inflation, they are overinflating their prices and they're continuing to churn out a massive profit. So I think that's where this frustration is coming from, where Gen Z is like, it's totally fine to steal.
And again, they're wrong about that. It's not fine to steal.
Mm-hmm.
But check this out. Looked at USA Today. They looked at some statistics. 30 years ago, who's doing the math? What was that? 19-something. 30 years ago.
1994?
Yeah.
America's celebrated middle class commanded twice as much wealth as the upper 1%. So the middle class as a whole in America
really
held twice as much wealth as the top 1% 30 years ago.
That shocks me.
Over the years, the rich have grown steadily richer. The top 1% caught and passed the middle class in collective wealth in late 2020, federal data shows. The wealth lead has changed hands since then, but the 1%ers have it now, and their margin is growing.
Mm-hmm.
The number of deca-millionaires has more than doubled.
What does that mean?
That's 10 million. They have 10 million in wealth.
Goodness.
Since 2000. And the number of centimillionaires, $100 million, has quadrupled since 2000. Quadrupled. And this is from Princeton, and they did some statistics. And who are the top 1%? The category includes flashy billionaires, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, of course, but many 1%ers are low-profile multimillionaires living quietly among us. As you go up the wealth distribution, it's more and more these private business owners. It's a lot of them are doing business. They're auto dealers, beverage distributors, people who own 7 Jiffy Lubes. And why the rich keep getting richer compared to everybody else is a topic of much debate, and there's a whole bunch of debate about it. But at the end of the day, unrestrained capitalism creates this because it presumes that the wealthy are going to, spend their money and not put it into Harvard's endowment funds.
Right.
And so, again, I don't think you should steal. But look at that. Since 2000, 30 years ago, can you even believe it? The middle class was way bigger than the top 1%. And now they're just like crushing it. So do you think that's essentially it?
Yeah, I think that's at least part of it.
Now, I got all this. We could talk about how capitalism works and all that. But the economy's kind of a mess. And so even though I don't agree with them, I think capitalism is a far better ideological system than socialism, all things being equal. But unrestrained capitalism is just as wicked as unrestrained socialism. Wouldn't you say? Or am I crazy?
Yeah. Oh, no. I'd agree.
And I think that's what you were pointing to, Ron. Because, by the way, unions have become much weaker in the last 30 years as well, which is really what kind of protects the average person from unrestrained capitalism, in a sense. So, because remember, we also had years ago little kids working in factories 7 days a week and having their arms chopped off.
Yeah.
That's unrestrained capitalism.
Yeah. While the owners of those factories built their houses on Millionaire Row, which would be Billionaire Row by now, or Multi-Billionaire Row.
So, Gen Z, stop it. You're naughty. Stop stealing. But I don't know what. Like, how do we... What do we do with this as believers? Let's make Lauren answer that. So, followers of Jesus, I think we need to at least try to understand Gen Z and not just call them a bunch of crazy communists that like to steal stuff, because that's not fair.
Yes.
They do like to steal stuff, apparently, and they need to stop that. But so how do we extend mercy and understanding and grace to Gen Z at the moment, do you think, millennial lady?
I think like you extend mercy and grace and understanding to everyone else who sins. I don't know.
What Gen Z wants more than anything right now is understanding. We have been complaining about the economy we've been dealt with for a couple years now, and everyone's like, oh, well, it was hard for us, and, you're just lazy and you just like to complain. Well, no, if you look at the data, things are actually harder for us, all things being equal, than they were even 20 years ago. We just want a little understanding and compassion.
You're not necessarily asking us to all become a bunch of socialists, are you? Because we don't want to do that.
No, and I don't want handouts. I just want a little empathy.
I think we can do that as believers. I mean, because let's be honest, there's no biblical mandate on exactly how economies ought to work. None.
Right.
In fact, if you look at the early church, it was small enough they were able to really have a very successful collective group where they pooled their income. Don't believe me, look at Acts. They pooled their income and lived that way. Not saying that's how large economies can operate. Not saying that at all.
That's how many Jewish people still live in Israel.
It's called a kibbutz. Yeah. So I think we've got to extend some of that grace and mercy. Guide them away from shoplifting.
Yes, please.
But yeah, maybe we have to do some of that. Okay, it's just about time for us to hit a break here, hit Ron's news. Rob Fenn, I believe, is in the building.
He is.
Oh, baby girl.
Baby girl's here.
We've got, now we have to qualify that for those who missed it earlier. We were talking about, speaking of Gen Z, all the new Gen Z lingo.
Yeah.
You heard people talking about celebrities.
Yeah, they're talking about celebrities, and one girl said, okay, well, do you think, okay, I'll use Pedro Pascal. Do you think Pedro Pascal is a Riz King? And he said, no.
And for old people, what does that mean, Riz King?
He has charisma.
Okay,
he's like a charismatic
no.
personality guy. Okay. And he said, no. And she goes, okay, is he baby girl? And he said, yes.
We were all like, what? So what does that mean again?
An attractive male who is cute and vulnerable and nice, basically.
And intelligent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Rob Fenn is...
That's right, baby girl.
Totally.
He will respond to that directly and answer your Social Security questions. He might also punch us. I'm not certain. Remember, Rob, you're a Christian. You are a Christian.
Yes.
Christians don't punch. They love. Love your enemy. Give us something to drink, maybe, or food. Okay, 440-546-2255. Call or text. Call or text with your Social Security questions. 440-546-2255. Rob Fenn answers those questions here right after Ron's news.
Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland, WCRF Cleveland, WVMS Sandusky, WVML Millersburg, WVMN Newcastle, WVME Meadville, WVMU Ashtabula, and everywhere with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
Texas' controversial new immigration law is likely headed to the U.S. Supreme Court. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. It allows local cops to arrest anybody they believe crossed the border illegally. It was blocked by a federal judge. That ruling has now been overturned. An animal rescue group in Mandaway Township is being ordered to close. Canine Lifeline faced dozens of charges after 146 dogs were found dead inside Barbara Weibel's home last year. A judge has ordered that the nonprofit organization pay more than $5,000 in fines, and it may not possess any more animals, and that it must dissolve entirely within 5 years. While winter is on the way out, the influenza virus seems to be hanging around in Ohio for the time being. The State Department of Health is categorizing Ohio's flu activity as very high for the season. I'll be right back with sports and weather.
It's not insurance, and that's a new way of thinking for some families. Christian Healthcare Ministries is a credible way to meet family healthcare costs affordably, biblically, and effectively, whether starting or growing your family. Serving families as a nonprofit healthcare sharing ministry for over 40 years, CHM has offered families the freedom to choose how they would like to meet healthcare costs. Be pleasantly surprised and find answers to your questions at chministries.org/Moody. That's chministries.org/Moody.
In sports, the Blue Jackets crushed the defending Stanley Cup champion Golden Knights 6-3. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers this morning, then showers with even a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. Highs around 70 degrees. At last check, cloudy and 56 in Cleveland, 51 Akron and Canton, 51 in Youngstown as well.
It's time for your moron moment.
National Sportsmanship Day is celebrated on the first Tuesday of March every year. This day has been celebrated since 1991 in order to promote good sportsmanship around the country and to set high standards for future generations of athletes. The objective of this day is to encourage fair play, good etiquette, and good character. This day is a reminder for athletes and sports fans alike that being good at a sport isn't the only important quality of an athlete. Showing good sportsmanship is equally important. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 8:02. With Moody Radio News, I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
It is 8:05, and we've got him here. He affectionately known by Gen Z as Baby Girl Rob. Rob Fenn from the Social Security Administration.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
We've
good
been
morning.
talking about you all morning. You want to respond?
Yeah, I've been hearing it since, what was that, 6:07,
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
6:10, something like that.
Rob Fenn, he's Baby Girl.
And
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. Because it's
Handsome,
funny.
intelligent, sensitive, vulnerable.
Well, I think there were two phrases that you used. I think before that was Riz.
Yeah.
Right?
Riz King.
So
Riz
are you
King.
implying that the Riz individual cannot be handsome and sensitive and all those things, but I have to be the baby girl?
Listen, I'm not Gen Z. I can't. Daria,
You could be a Riz King and a baby girl.
I can't.
You can't?
I can't. Oh, so I have
You just want to be the
glasses.
Riz King.
I have glasses. I have arms. I have a chest.
You have
I have
arms.
legs. So now I'm a white American. No, I'm still me. I'm still Robert Penn, African American male. It's not going to happen. I am not going to be baby girl. It's just not going to happen.
Definitively answered.
That's right. But you know who doesn't need help?
Who?
Gen Z with their Social Security questions.
Nah.
No, they don't.
Not yet.
Not yet, but they will someday. And by the way, before we do anything else, Lauren,
What?
Today's a very special day.
What?
You know it today. You just told us. Ron didn't hear it. This is the 1-year anniversary of Lauren being on the team.
Yeah.
Oh,
true.
wow.
Wow.
Oh,
That's loud, Brian.
the crowd loves it. Oh, how does
Thank
it
you.
feel?
Great. I think my first Rob was Slam the Scam, which we're talking about today. I think that was my first time with Rob. And I was like, what's this guy talking about?
Yes.
I wasn't sure which one this was going to be. I just clicked one.
Wow.
That's for you.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary, Lauren.
Thank you.
Yes.
The show's better because of you.
Wow.
Yes, you have enhanced this show. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you.
Thanks, baby girl. Okay.
Nice.
Rob, do you want to start with your stuff or do you want to go to questions first and come back to your stuff?
I'll make sure I start with it. 'Cause
Okay.
I know if we get to the questions, we'll be full engaged in that. So
you got, first of all, you heard a question for Dave about SSI.
yes.
And you want to be sure that you address that. What is SSI?
Yeah, SSI stands for Supplemental Security Income. During Dave Safransky's segment, which is on Thursdays,
That's
I believe at 8 a.m., one of the individuals called in to ask Dave the question in regards to SSI and that the individual was denied benefits and they didn't know what to do. And so I just wanted to make sure I address that for any individual who does receive a denial. Let me make sure I explain what a denial is and then what you can do. When an individual applies for Social Security Disability, we have two programs, Social Security Disability and SSI. Social Security Disability means a person has worked, they paid the FICA tax, and then they're not able to continue to work to get to retirement age, so they apply for Social Security Disability. At the same time, there's another program called SSI, which means that they did not work as much, but they have limited income and limited resources. Both of those programs, they have to submit an application. If that application is not approved, denied, that individual has the right to make an appeal. And the appeal goes to different stages. We call a reconsideration. That means they send it back down to a group of people in Columbus to review it. And then the individual, if they're denied then it goes to an administrative law judge. If it gets denied then it goes to an appeals council. My point is that an individual has the right to appeal. They have 60 days to do it from the date of that denial letter. I also want to add, because I think the caller was a relative of someone. A relative has the right to also document what they see. This is the part that I think the American public or the general public is not aware. Most people think Social Security Disability, SSI, talk to the doctor. The doctor's going to approve it, and that's what I need to know. But your information as a loved one, as a wife, as a husband, as a father, son, daughter, whatever it may be, baby girl, all of those things can be done. Now, I'm just saying that you as a spouse, you can write up and you can say, my husband used to go out and hunt every single weekend. Now he seems to be withdrawn, doesn't want to be around the people. My spouse was someone who was active and could pick up the grandchild. Now she's not able to pick up and hold that grandchild. That can be documented just on a piece of paper. We've had people submit it just on an envelope, back of an envelope. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be fancy letterhead. So the individual can appeal it. They have 60 days to do so, and you can submit your information as a family member along with that doctor's information.
By the way, hot tip, if you're like, that is a compelling voice, I wonder what it looks like. Text live to 440-546-2255. Wave to the camera, Rob. Look at you. You're on camera. Is this the first time?
No.
He's been here before.
Okay. What's your name? Who are you?
Baby girl.
Yeah, no. That Ron. Oh, bring him out.
He's in a different room. See, that's why you can do that.
Yes.
Okay, but if you want to watch the whole thing or look back at some of this advice, because a lot of people say, wait, I missed what he said. It'll be available for you to listen back to forevermore, essentially, as long as YouTube exists. So text live to 440-546-2255. Now, I feel like you made this up. but it's almost National Slam the Scam Day.
On March 7th.
Slam it.
Slam the scam.
Did you make that up?
I did not make it up. No,
you could have, though. That's a Rob kind of thing.
Rob puts a little more riz on his Slam the Scam. I'll look something else.
So tell us about Slam the Scam.
Slam the Scam. Thank you for that, Brian. In short, we have a group of people that help Social Security find the bad guys. Office of Inspector General. And we have been told that the numbers have increased in terms of individuals who are imposters posing as government employees, not just Social Security, not just IRS, VA, whatever it may be. And these individuals, we're going after them, if you will.
Good.
I guess because I've been listening to the show, that fight still is in me. So I'm trying to keep it withdrawn. But so on March 7th, we are doing this promotion of keeping people aware of these scams. During the pandemic, I received several phone calls from individuals saying that someone called them saying that they're from Social Security and that if you didn't want your Social Security number suspended, act now.
Oh,
goodness.
No.
Right.
That's scary.
That's scary. And we at Social Security, we can't even, that action of not suspending or suspending a Social Security number, that's not even possible. You cannot suspend a Social Security number. But people don't know that, so they think I got to take action.
Do you call us?
Do we call you?
Yeah.
We do not call you unless you initiated the phone call. You called and set up an appointment, then yes, we're going to call you. Now, there are certain times in which we do need to communicate with the public. So in those situations, we're going to mail out a letter. And we're going to say, hey, we want to speak to you about XYZ. Please call us at such and such date, or I'm going to call you on such and such date. Then if you wanted to ignore the letter, you still can call 1-800-772-1213. Call that number. I'm going to look right in the camera. 1-800-772-1213. And
that was awesome, by the way. You pointed, too. It's great.
You can call that number to verify whether or not that letter is legit. Again, if you get any phone calls or someone calling you out the blue and you didn't expect this phone call, please know that more than likely it's not Social Security. Some of these phone calls, I mean, the voices are, this is the Social Security Administration. We're coming for your firstborn, and then somebody, when you come to get them? No.
Right. Can you take my youngest too?
But that is not Social Security.
You don't do that.
No, we are never going to call and threaten someone that you have to take action in order to get more money, put money on Bitcoin, on debit cards. That is not Social Security at all. Just be mindful of that. And again, I need to make sure I couple that because someone's going to get a phone call from us, but it should have been a letter coupled with that. So just be aware of that. As I sent some slides in for Brian and the team to look at, and it refers to the number of individuals, how the dollar amount has increased. And it's not just for individuals who are seniors. Thank you there, Brian. Brian White, my Vanna.
He's exceptionally white.
Yes.
Brian White.
You can see the numbers increase, and it's not just for older individuals, for younger individuals. Now there are younger individuals that were as susceptible in terms of dollar amount, $3,000, but those who are over age 85 lost $10,000 on average.
Sad.
Yes. From not just Social Security, but just people posing as some type of government authority that they're not. So I just want to make sure March 7th, be aware, slam the scam, promote it, tell your loved ones, be aware of that. And again, I know I want to sound like I'm talking on both sides of my head here is by saying, yes, we do contact people, but it's based upon your doing. You initiated it. And just be mindful that Social Security will never threaten anyone telling you that you have to do this. And that's the key, is recognizing that sense of urgency. They are trying to make you do something, and they want you to act now. And again, it can happen to anyone. I received a phone call probably like 9 or 10 times almost in a week during the pandemic.
You did?
Yeah, and I was like, the audacity.
And you're like, come on.
Social Security.
I work there.
Yes. They still do it. So
what's your employee number? I'm going to get you.
Yeah, so it can happen. So just be aware of that. Slam the scam.
Goodness.
March 7th, be aware.
I'm going to make you blush a little bit, Rob.
Is that so?
I mentioned if you're curious what that amazing voice looks like, text live to 440. We got a lot of people text in the word live to get the live stream. Say hello to them, Rob.
Hello. Good morning. I can't see them, so I don't know
You can just see
how much
yourself.
it's doing. Yeah.
You want to watch the live stream or have it available to hear his advice over again? Just text live to 440-546-2255, and you can join us right now to see the whole thing happening, or again, you can watch it later. We'll get to more of your questions for Rob Fenn from the Social Security Administration by call or text 440-546-2255. And Daria's watching the live stream too, if you put questions there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you on the live stream could put questions right there. Right there? Daria, am I pointing correctly?
Not really.
Put it right there. Right. And we'll ask those questions. 440-546-2255.
It's easy to talk about Moody Radio helping people in a generic sense, but then you take a call from a hurting friend like Wanda.
3 years ago, my daughter just died. She just up and died.
Her death was a complete surprise, but God was there bringing comfort and encouragement, using Moody Radio as part of the healing process.
If it hadn't been for Moody Radio, me listening to it, I don't think I could have made it.
Her pain was still there, but so was the hope. Looking back, Wanda says,
Thank God for you guys and His Word, because you guys kept me encouraged and uplifted. And I thank and praise God for that. I really do.
Be praying for Wanda, and then consider giving a gift so Moody Radio is there to comfort others as well.
Go to our website, moodyradio.org/Cleveland, and click on Donate. Thank you. Moody Radio is thankful for listeners and support from businesses like Duma Meats and Farm Market. Duma Meats and Farm Market, supporting Moody Radio in Cleveland and surrounding areas. More information about Duma Meats and Farm Market is at dumameats.com.
Join the conversation by call or text at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
818 WCRF in studio with us. He's here. You can watch the live stream, 440-546-2255. Text live to that if you want to check into the live stream.
The live stream's popping off because Ron is here.
Yeah.
Rob is here. Ron, too.
Right.
Well,
Yes.
both of them.
Rob and Ron.
It's an amazing duo. Rob Fenn of the Social Security Administration answering your Social Security questions. Let's jump right to the phones here. Rob, are you ready?
I am. I'm even going to stand up. I like
Whoa.
to stand up. That
Watch
way I
out.
feel
Me
like
too.
I'm talking to the individual.
All right. Let's go to Gail in Cleveland. Gail, what's your question for Rob Fenn?
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning.
I have a question. I'm turning 65 in 8 months in November. I see so many radio ads, TV ads. I'm getting mailers like crazy about, initiating my Social Security. Mm-hmm. Who is the best type of person to start with to sit down with you and give you and show you your maximum benefits that you're eligible for?
You are that person. Surprise, surprise. What do I mean by that? Because in my opinion, I have a counterpart. My title is called Public Affairs Specialist, and we have 5 individuals within the state of Ohio who do what we do. I have conversations with them, and it's interesting to me that I'm speaking with people who have served our country. They have raised human beings. They have purchased homes. They have paid taxes. They've done all of these things throughout their life as adults. And somehow when Social Security comes, there's this panic button as if you don't have the confidence in yourself. So what do I mean? It starts with no plug, but Brian did bring it up. The My Social Security account, going to our website, socialsecurity.gov, and we'll talk about Lauren. You saying you're not being able to access that.
Yeah, she's making stuff up over there.
No, I'll do it right in front of you. I will do it in front of you.
Yeah. Start there, get that My Social Security account, review your record, see what is there. So that way when you speak to someone else, so that way you're properly educated on what's there. Now, going to your point, ma'am, you're saying, okay, when I'm thinking about retirement benefits, you're right, you get all this information in your mail, you get all kinds of, you see commercials and what have you through the media. You can call us, closer you are to your full retirement age, 1-800-772-1213. You can go to our website, socialsecurity.gov, G-O-V, review your work history, review the calculators that we have, see the dollar amounts there. You can make that appointment at the 800 number I just gave, 772-1213, and then we can go over the scenarios. What's my point? Why am I keep talking about the website and the 800 number? Because Social Security is an agency. We are not going to tell you this is the one for you. This is the option that you have to take. meaning you should take it at 65 and 8 months or wait to age 67. Because we at Social Security, we don't know the other things that are going to factor into your retirement planning. The stocks, the bonds, the 401k, the money you've been stuffing underneath your mattress, all those things. We don't know those things. So I say it starts there. Now, are there great financial planners or wealth management advisors? The answer is yes. Those individuals. We have individuals who come onto this show. They can give you information. So, but myself as Social Security, I cannot say go to those places. I can talk about those places, but I can't tell you which ones to go to. So it starts with you, learn the information, and then you can contact us, and you can also contact those other sources. Moody Radio has a great source, which you can also contact as well. So I'll just leave it at that. But you can plug it if you wish, Brian.
Sure. Yeah. I think you're referring to Dave, right?
Yes.
Dave and Moody Radio itself has an organization for advisors.
Yeah.
He has no clue what you're talking about. You have to help him out.
The Christian advisors?
Oh, yeah. So, like, I think Crown Financial, you're referring to, has a list where you can go and find local Christian advisors. Crown Financial.
Well, I'm trying to throw the hook out there.
Yeah, I was like,
He doesn't
what?
fish.
Where am I? No, I don't fish because it's not catching. And sitting all day in a boat in the sun without anything happening is not fun for me.
Okay.
440-546-2255. Really?
I would like to be seared. Yes, I want to sit in the sun.
Jimmy and I used to fish when we lived in Florida. We were like in the bass capital of the world. It was fun.
That's fun.
That sounds great. Okay, let's jump to line 2 here, Ron. We've got our next caller on the line. Sandy, what's your question for Rob
Sandy.
Fenn of the Social Security Administration?
Hi there.
Hi there.
I am newly engaged.
Oh.
And my fiance and I are both on Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
And I am on my ex-husband's Social Security because we were married over 10 years. And my ex-husband's Social Security was higher than mine because I was self-employed. So I'm on his. So when I marry my new husband, someone told me I have to wait a year to get it would go to his instead of my old one.
We had a little breakage up, but I think if I heard everything correctly, you are now engaged. Congratulations. You are currently receiving a benefit from your ex-spouse. Am I correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Since you're receiving a benefit as an ex-spouse, that lets me know, in my mind, then you're at least over the age of 62, and that ex-spouse is over age 62. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so now you're looking to know if you get remarried, is there a child that you are raising underneath the age of 16?
No.
Okay.
All our kids are grown up.
Say that again?
All our kids are grown up and on their own.
Mm-hmm.
We launched them successfully.
I understand. So since both of individuals are over retirement age, meaning at least age 62, so yes, if you do get remarried, the benefit would stop. But I'm interested because
the benefit based on her previous spouse would stop.
Yes, but I'm if the individual that your ex-spouse, is that person still with us, alive?
Yes, he's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
He's collecting his, collecting mine.
Mm-hmm. So if you remarry, the answer is yes. That benefit on the ex-spouse would stop. After 1 year of marriage to your current fiance, you could look to make the switch if that individual is at least age 62 and starts receiving their Social Security benefit.
Yes.
Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. He's in the background. He's listening. Now,
but they have to wait a year for her to measure whether his benefit's greater than hers, right?
Yes. Well, technically, he could call and she can be with him like they're doing now. Speak to Social Security just so that way they can say, okay, well, how much am I eligible for? He, the spouse, and then we will then look at her benefit, and she's due around 37.5%, starting at age 62, and then it increases up to 50% as a spouse. So we can compare that. Now, with that being said, I just gave if you notice, I always give the policy answer first, then I give the real world. So policy answer, I've given that. Real world, we do not say, we Social Security nor Moody Radio, I'm not speaking for Moody Radio, but we don't say you don't get married, you can start shacking now. That's not what I'm doing, right? I need to make sure I say that because people will misinterpret what I'm saying. They're like, oh, I got to wait a year? We're not going to get married. The guy from Social Security said if we got to wait a year. I didn't say that. It's totally up to you. I'm giving you the policy answer. And the policy answer is yes, if you're receiving a benefit as an ex-spouse and you get remarried, that benefit could stop. And then you can make a switch to the other spouse's record after 1 year of marriage. And I'm leaving it right there. Let me look back in the camera. I'm leaving it right there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and that is we've talked about that on a few occasions on the air, and it's a significant moral problem for followers of Jesus that are of retirement age.
Yeah, and it's not even just Christians, because the SSI program that I mentioned earlier, if the individuals get married, their benefit, the total amount can be reduced as well. And so people say, well, that's against marriage or what have you. I'm not getting into those weeds.
No, you're not.
But you're right. People in general think about the money versus the principle of marriage, which should be based upon the love and Christ. So I'll leave that part.
Yeah, and I have to throw in as well, like if the moral principle for young people, this is not Rob, this is Brian.
Yes.
If the moral principle for young people is you cannot live together and you cannot have intimate relations until you're married, the same is the case for someone who's retired. The moral principle doesn't change with age.
It doesn't change just because you don't get good benefits from Social Security.
Correct.
Right.
Now, maybe we'll bring that up later this week, but Rob is not. His organization, his government organization, they only tell you the policy. They don't tell you what to do.
That's right.
We're telling you, morally, God has high expectations, even if it's hard. 440-546-2255.
Does disability turn into regular Social Security at full retirement age?
Excellent question. Whoever said that, thank you for sending that in. So make sure that everyone understands what they're referring to. When an individual has not reached their full retirement age, and full retirement age means you're based upon the year you're born determines when your full retirement age. If you're born 1943 to 1954, full retirement age will be 66. Each year after that, it increases in increments of 2 months. 1955, 66 and 2 months, all the way to 1960 or later. Anyone born 1960 or later, full retirement age will be 67. So if someone applies for Social Security disability because they haven't reached that age, why is she shaking her head? What's going on?
No, it's going to be 86 by the time I come around.
Right.
There's no laws on the books. There's saying that there's going to change, which is good that you're saying that. It's good that you're saying that.
But even for me, Rob, when I started doing financial planning when my wife and I were in our 20s,
yes,
they said you really need to not
plan
base your entire retirement on Social Security. Plan that you're not going to have it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not the case.
Right. Yes.
But it keeps getting older, man.
Yeah. So let me make sure I address that part, and then we'll go to the question about it changing it. You know, people say there's always these changes. Well, these laws in terms of the full retirement age was written in 1983-84, became effective in 2000. That's it. There hasn't been any other laws that kept changing the full retirement age.
So quit worrying,
feels
Lauren.
like it.
But right, because people continue to listen to media and whatever. They're moving the goalposts every single time. That law has been here since 1983-84.
And it went into effect in 2000?
In 2000. But it's been here since 84. Michael Jackson, when I had a curl. So Michael Jordan shoes. Long time ago. But my point of making is that because we just now become aware of these things, we go, oh my gosh, this has been a change. It's been a change. No, it's been there. We just became aware of it. So with that being said, that the full retirement age is now 67 for those born after 1960. We've commonly heard age 65 for years. I understand that. Now, with that being said, when someone reaches that full retirement age, if they're receiving Social Security disability, then what happens is we now take the money from the disability trust fund to the retirement trust fund. So we have a disability trust fund and a retirement trust fund. Now, what happens is we mail out a letter. This is where it gets a little sticky for some people. We mail a letter, and it says on the letter, you are no longer receiving Social Security disability. And then people pass out, and they say, oh, my gosh, they're stopping my check. You know, they're not stopping your check. You turn the letter over on the other side, and you'll read it, and it says, now you're eligible for retirement benefits, in short. Not verbatim, but that's what you're receiving because they're taking the money out of this retirement trust fund. So nothing changes. The dollar amount stays the same. The time that you're getting the check stays the same. It's just that now it's a retirement check because you're over for retirement age. It's no longer a disability check. Great question. I'm glad they asked that.
Now, why couldn't you have brought in with you a photo of yourself in 1984 so we could put it up on the screen in a live stream when you said that?
Because I know it would be in perpetuity, evergreen. No, it's not going to happen.
I want to make
I'm
a
not
YouTube
afraid of that.
short for us. We can make a short with that little clip, and we could put up a picture of you in 84.
Of me? And
Yeah.
And the curl and what have you?
Yeah.
Brian, boy, you are something else.
You're not going to do that?
Throwing someone else.
No, he doesn't.
If you come in with one of your big bouffant, I'll bring in my curl pictures.
I got it right here.
All right.
I'll
good.
show it to you in the break.
You show it to me. You put it up.
Okay.
Yeah, put it up.
We will.
And you sing a song.
Which one?
Whatever it is.
I believe the children are our future.
Oh, my God.
80s. Teach them well. I'm going to get that picture. We got more questions for Rob Fenn of Social Security Administration coming up. 440-546-2255.
I guess each one of us probably have people in our lives, people we know, people we care about, people we'd love to see come to saving faith, but whom we could never imagine in a million years turning to the Lord Jesus Christ.
Here is Jonathan Griffiths with today's Moment of Truth.
I mean, this person, whoever we're thinking of, they are too hostile. They are too wrapped up in an ungodly way of life, too dismissive of Jesus Christ. This person, we imagine, is simply unsavable. Do you know anyone like that? I guess we've all got someone like that in mind. Now, the amazing thing is that Paul was that guy. Paul was that person. There was no one more unsavable than Saul of Tarsus. He hated the gospel. He hated the church. He had no time for Jesus Christ. His life's aim was to destroy the people